Hello guys, welcome back in Goku Manhwa. Let's continue.
We continue from the previous episode as Kaian Yowoon charges into the enemy encampment, targeting Rebel Commander Bai Qiansheng with a combination of Shadow Phantom Strikes and the Lunar Frost Palm. The fused assault destabilizes Bai's formation, leaving no space for him to regroup. Bai Qiansheng, struggling to deflect the barrage, snarls inwardly. This technique, it's clearly the Moonsec's forbidden Frost Palm. His hands tremble. Shadow Walker, you insane fool. His thoughts stumble. No. Has he merged forbidden frost with the phantom movement technique? Kaian, noticing Bai falter, lets out a soft laugh. Impressive. You're withstanding more than the last one who wielded Phoenix Essence. He narrows his stance and says, let's raise the stakes. With a sharp motion. Crack. He shatters Bai's shoulder. The joint snaps, twisted flesh hanging loose. Frost spreads across Bai's tunic. With a vicious grin, Yowoon hisses, consider this your warning. Bai shrieks, falling back as he grips his dislocated arm. Crystals forming at the wound. Yowoon pivots for a wide arc aimed at Bai's spine. Now, let's end this. But just before the strike connects, Bai unleashes a primal scream and sends out a shockwave of golden essence. You maniac, he roars. The energy explodes outward like a collapsing star. Yowoon leaps back, maneuvering with agile grace to evade the burst. Bai drops to one knee, gasping, his shoulder encased in fractured ice and blood. He vomits a thick stream of red as we see the frost eating away at his wound, stopping all healing. Bai grips his shattered limb, the cold now fusing bone and nerve. His vision blurs, and he thinks. They said channeling Phoenix Essence grants supreme recovery. But this. His eyes twitch. It halts the bleeding but not the decay. So this is the boundary. Looking up, he sees Kaian Yowoon walking calmly through the icy fog, untouched. Pale frost swirling around his frame like a cloak of ruin. Bai's heartbeat accelerates. Could he be a transcendent realm cultivator? His mind flashes back to the technique Yowoon just used. That pattern, unmistakable. It belongs solely to the Shadow Phantom sect. His brain spins. His combined phantom stepping, which burns life force for speed, with the Lunar Frost Palm, whose origin is untraceable. He's crafted a technique of his own. A sudden image flashes in his mind, a distant figure from myth, and dread grips him. No, this isn't the Shadow Walker they warn us of. His lungs tighten. He's nothing like the stories from the Jade Scrolls. A chill settles in. Every contingency, every calculation, meaningless now. He lowers his gaze. I must get away. Whatever happens, this must reach the Celestial Council. His eyes scan the frozen temple. Even if I collapse the structure to flee, I won't outrun him. Then his eyes fall on the celestial core, still glowing faintly. If I absorb the core's remains, my body won't survive. It will break me. His left hand, shaking, brushes the cracked floor. Cold, brittle, he glances down. It's the ice beast's blood. He grinds his jaw. Damn it. But then a golden pulse erupted as the sound of ancient chi rang out like an echo of the heavens. Bai Qiansheng's eyes widened, stunned. He quickly noticed how the celestial energy flowed rapidly toward the fractured tiles where beast blood had spread, and he wondered. The celestial force is amplifying through the blood. His mind raced back to the moment his chest was nearly crushed by Yowoon's palm. Bai speculated that when death brushed close, his force release had interrupted Yowoon's rhythm. He realized it must have disrupted the man's armor. A sly grin formed as a wild idea surfaced. The fool forgot how he subdued the Jade Serpent. Bai pressed his hand fully onto the floor, motionless, waiting for Yowoon's approach. Yowoon moved forward, weapon humming, radiating a calm yet deadly intent. Bai's grin stretched wider, elated. Through the blood, I'll ignite my strongest celestial burst. Kaian Yowoon's foot landed in the blood pool. Without pause, he advanced, droplets scattering around him. In that instant, Bai released every ounce of celestial force into the blood-soaked tiles and bellowed, "Sacred flame of judgment, reduce all to ash." As the divine current raced toward Yowoon, Bai shrieked, "Vanish, ghost of shadows." A blinding eruption engulfed Yowoon from every direction, flooding the corridor with divine light. When the storm faded, smoke and light clung to the air, divine sparks still dancing. Bai's shoulders sagged, eyes twitching, sweat streaming down his face, blood leaking from his lips. He began to chuckle. A small sound, then a burst of wild, triumphant laughter. He howled, "It's done. I've destroyed the shadow ghost." Just as he inhaled to laugh again, Yo-Woon appeared silently, gripping Bai's throat, hoisting him into the air before he could blink. Yo-Woon's fingers tightened, his gaze frosted. Who destroyed who? Bai, gasping and stunned, thought. This is impossible. Barely able to breathe, he croaked. Are you even human? At that moment, the core processor in Yo-Woon's mind began its status feed. Surge rate 250%. Surge rate 260%. Surge rate 280%. Then another message arrived. Celestial lock partially broken by divine exposure. Yo-Woon allowed himself a faint smile and mused. So the celestial engine reacts well under pressure. His eyes, now glowing crimson, narrowed as he spoke softly. Now return what you have taken. With a sharp jerk of his hand, blood erupted from Bai's jaw and collar, spraying wildly. A sudden flood of sacred energy burst from Bai's shattered frame as he screamed, pleading with Yo-Woon to end it. Yo-Woon stared down at the burned, limp body with a twisted smirk and thought. As I guessed. Trembling, Bai sobbed. My energy. My divine essence. But Yo-Woon's thoughts continued. Somehow, the shadow core I wield excels at consuming alien chi types. Still gripping Bai with one arm, he observed his free hand and considered. I've made all his celestial force part of me. Then, curiosity flickered within him. Why not test it? In an instant, he channeled a stream of sacred chi back into Bai's veins. The result was immediate. Bai wailed in absolute agony. Then, with a brutal snap, his skull burst apart, blood and brain matter raining across the chamber. His body twitched violently for a heartbeat, then collapsed to powder and bone dust. Yo-Woon observed silently, unmoved. As he watched the ashes scatter, he thought. He ruptured entirely. Looks like I absorbed it all. He decided. The final artifact is within reach. Without delay, he descended swiftly into the chamber and landed beside the Phoenix Relic's altar. As he approached, he noted. It's radiating more heat than expected. Then muttered. Extracting all its energy won't be quick. Suddenly, he caught sight of a massive fissure zigzagging along the chamber ceiling. Narrowing his eyes, he grimaced. So the earlier clash caused this crack? I must leave before the entire structure caves in. He spoke aloud. Interface. Is the relic stable for transport? The system answered with calm efficiency. Compatibility confirmed. Extending one hand, Yo-Woon clutched the glowing relic and readied himself to escape. Without warning, a deafening crash echoed as molten debris burst through the ceiling, flooding the chamber. With one powerful stride, Yo-Woon sprinted, relic secured, fleeing the inferno. He surged ahead, gaining speed with each heartbeat. Behind him, the blazing lava swallowed the path. As heat intensified, he noted. Collapse sequence unfolding exactly as projected. A new thought struck him. The Vanguard team. Did they make it out? But then his gaze shot forward. In front, another wave of molten rock surged from the opposite end. He soared upward just in time to glimpse both waves converging. Unbelievable, he realized. Fires coming from both sides now. The air scorched around him. His body slowed, dragged down by the fiery pull. Then, the interface spoke. Emergency status detected. Initiating thermal resistance protocol. Heat barrier at 90% integrity. Yo-Woon activated a movement technique, weaving against the blazing tide. This could truly become fatal. Frantically, he grabbed a protruding stone arch, attempting to anchor himself. But the force proved immense. An eruption-level force, he thought grimly. Still clinging to the arch, realization hit. I'm being dragged into the fault line carved by the explosion. Escape's not guaranteed. He gave a sharp order. Interface, engage propulsion system to full. Instantly, the thrusters on his boots ignited with roaring force. Maximum thrust engaged. The system confirmed. Forcing his way through the blazing current, Yo-Woon pressed on as another warning followed. Oxygen remaining 80%. Chan Yun weaved nimbly through the collapsing ruins, dodging falling rubble and energy fragments with precision. But as he glanced back, his eyes sharpened. That was the crest of the Iron Vow clan. Could it be? Up ahead, he spotted more relics and gear caught in the current. Are the Iron Vow warriors being swept away as well? With swift reflexes, He redirected and disarmed several of the relics drifting dangerously toward him. This is getting out of hand, he thought, grim. Though surrounded by destruction, he maintained flawless control, evading each incoming hazard. Making a quick decision, he summoned a spear of condensed wind. The rubble is increasing. I won't last long in here. There's only one way out. I need to pierce the surface. With a determined strike, he launched the wind spear toward the rock above. But as the blast hit, Chan Yun's expression turned grim. Something wasn't right. He stared upward. The strike barely left a scratch. He questioned, is the wind spear dampened in this dense atmosphere? Yet he didn't hesitate. Again and again, he unleashed bursts toward the ceiling, jaw clenched. Not yet. One more blow. Then came the interface's alert. Caution. Increased Chi expenditure will accelerate oxygen drain. Oxygen remaining 35%. Undeterred, he pushed onward. Blow after blow struck the ceiling with barely a mark. Oxygen has fallen below 20%, came another warning. But Yun didn't waver. His only thought was to break free. Again. Oxygen has fallen below 15%. Another strike followed. Again. His limbs trembled, but he kept going. Once more. Then suddenly, fatigue overtook him. His form slowed. The edges of his vision darkened. His arm, still outstretched, began to fall. Oxygen has fallen below 5%. Chan Yun descended into the collapsing chamber's abyss as the system issued its final reports. Oxygen has fallen below 4%. Oxygen has fallen below 3%. Oxygen has fallen below 1%. Fade to black. Thank you for joining the journey. If this episode gripped you, consider leaving a like, subscribing for more, and tapping the bell so you catch the next chapter. Until next time.